Hey guys, thanks for checking out the Bucked Up Podcast. If you don't mind hitting the like, subscribe button, we have new episodes coming out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you guys so much for checking it out. This episode is sponsored by Exotic Roots Hydro, which I have to give a huge shout out to. They are a huge supporter of the podcast, and I'm really happy to be working with them. If you're ever in Rochester, New York, and you need to learn about any of your hydroponic needs, go to their shop. You can follow them at Exotic Roots Hydro on Instagram. Shout out their whole team. They have an amazing venue space. They're going to be putting on tons of events. Just make sure to follow Exotic Roots Hydro on Instagram. And if you're ever in Rochester, definitely stop by. Let's get back into it.
It was at this moment that he knew.
He bucked up.
Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you have fucked up.
But it's like, I'm just trying to fucking be better. Like,
Yo, bro, I'm not gonna hold you. I've never actually heard anybody outside myself say that about they art that similar, literally just word for word. Like, bro, I'm trying to be better at life in myself.
Yeah.
And like, I'm trying to even be better, feeling better about myself. And like, it's funny that people will look and see what you're doing and they fucking like marvel over it. Because, and that's the thing, like, there are certain people that are naturally blessed. We are all blessed. We are all gifted with different attributes that should be used. Everybody got a superpower. So it's funny because a person will see your superpower and love you for that, not knowing that like you are in the crib or wherever trying to like deal with it, trying to like live through it. You feel me? And figure out like, why is it you that hold that responsibility? What are you supposed to do with the responsibility? Are you doing enough? You know, and it's crazy because a fan to come up to you and be like, when I see you in New York, I'm on my way to New York. Like in my head, this is after everything. I'm in my head just thinking another thing. And then like this dude pull up on me like, yo, Billie Essco, yo, I got the Pray for Paris vinyl. Can you sign it? And I'm just like, and then you pull up on me and then I meet the homie that did my vinyl. It was my first time ever meeting him. Shout out to Tough Gone Records, you feel me? My boy D. Like, it's crazy because he from Italy. He from over there, and it's like we never met.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so I'm meeting him. I'm meeting this fan. You pull up, and it's like, all while I'm in my head thinking I ain't did enough.
Yeah.
You know
like,
what I mean?
Shit, I don't even really want to talk about this a ton on the podcast, but today is a real tough day. Like I had personal shit go on that like I just didn't want to deal with, and I'm gonna have to deal with later tonight that I don't feel like. But I was looking through my memories, and today's the 1-year anniversary that I came to Buffalo for the first time, not even realizing that shit, and like getting to talk to you. Like our paths haven't been able to cross, but it worked out today, and it's a cool thing because that's the stuff that's like, oh, I am gonna keep going. Yeah, because I go through that time where it's like, what the fuck am I even doing?
Yeah, that's a fact, man. It's funny. Let me say it like that. It's funny because like you said, you just never know. Like, and I appreciate that you was able to like find the wherewithal to like actually go through the day and be like, you know, fuck it. Cause for so long I'd be like, yo, I'm having a terrible day. I'm just gonna push it to tomorrow. Yeah. And then that tomorrow comes. So it's been a bunch of times I'm supposed to link you and then fuck this day. I'm having a bad day. You know what? And it prolongs shit to where you start to miss out on that timing. Like it's all divine timing. So sometimes when you don't want to do something, it's better that you do it because it's like you might have did it in that time. And then later it's like, thank God I did it.
Yeah.
You feel me?
That's how it always works out. Like, success is the execution, not the idea. Mm-hmm. Like you gotta, like, I think of the more I get into this, the more I have to think about it. Like not it's a job in a bad way, but like, oh no, like I have to dedicate my life to it like a job. And like, if someone's having a bad day and they own a business, they can't take that day off. Ooh. Like if Mike is having a bad day, like he can't not run this place. Right. Like he has to. So how the like I have to do that. Like if I have a bad that consists like I release 3 episodes a week and I've never missed a week. Like
that's beautiful. That's beautiful. It's funny that you said that too, because like I had to learn that over the past 2 years. You know, I've done a lot, and we'll get into that. But just with these last 2 years and the growth of cafe, and it kind of like, you know, because I've had multiple brands, I've done multiple things. I'm a brand myself, but with cafe, it reached a different height because it hit 2 different demographics simultaneously, and then on top of that, it fed like a certain hunger for that time. You know what I mean? Like the hats just happened to be clicking, and that was all me just following intuition.
and it was before hats really blew up.
You feel me? And that was the one time out of many times where I was just like, you know what, fuck it. Let me just do it, because, you know, cafe is, so just to break it down, cafe is an actual cafe. Like the cafe brand represents an actual cafe. Now it started off as like a metaphor for a cafe space. Just like when you think about a cafe, you think either you go there for refreshments or you go in there to like do some type of work or creativity. It's always a space. And when I was in college, I didn't work a job. I hated fucking working and shit. I worked some shitty jobs. I worked some good ones too. But the time I just wanted to do something myself. And it wasn't really that. This is like 2013, 14, 15 when the idea was being cultivated. So fast forward in time, cafe just represents a space where people can come and they can converse, talk about anything through culture, whatever. And it's just an expansion of an ideal, of creativity, of a vibe. But when we dropped the clothes, it was just I gotta put out a design real fast. Let me just put out something.
Why do you think that was different than like the other shit that you had done before?
It was more accessible. It was more accessible. So if you know me or if you follow me, I've always put my hands in things, and then like literally right before it get hot, I like take it out, and then like it catches wildfire and it expands everywhere, and I'm like just watching the blaze every time. But I'm always in there, you know, rubbing the wood together. Pause, super pause on that one. Super pause. My boy Weez just came and was like, hey. I try to make a fucking metaphor. Yo, I was in the motherfucker, you feel me? Yeah, man. Shout out my boy. I was in the joint, getting it hot. You feel me? Pausing, yeah. Whatever, you know what I mean, man. I was in there, you know, in the early, just laying down the firewood so that like.
What do you mean you pulled your hands out of it before it caught blaze?
So like,
do you mean that in a good way or a bad way? Like you stepped back when you should have pushed harder, or you mean you stepped back before it went down?
No, I stepped back before it caught worldwide. So I've always done that. If you know me, I've always created or been in the forefront of creation. I'm like an early adopter, if you know about you know, that type of thing. So basically, like I'm always a person that like sees it early. I adopt it and I give it to the tastemakers, and then the tastemakers is the ones that make it hot. And then it goes down to the, you know, normal consumer, and then it goes to the people who pick up late. You feel me? So I'm always like in the beginning of some shit, just doing it just out of pure curiosity or genuine love. And then I'm a person where I don't really like to do things that the masses are doing, but I'm learning that it's not a bad thing. But I'm very much like.
That's funny that you say that.
Yeah, I'm very much like you, like, okay, for instance, so I used to have a high top fade, like back in like 20 shit. When did I cut my shit? Maybe a 12, I twisted my hair, right? The reason why I twisted my hair is because too many people started getting high top fades. I stopped doing a lot of things once it caught on, just because in Buffalo.
Yeah, but cutting your hair and doing it in a business sense is two different things.
No, but I never thought about anything in a business sense. And I had to learn later. I didn't think about shit.
Is that what you mean by accessibility?
Yes, simple. Like I wanted my aesthetic of business and clothing, how I see it, like so I don't idolize anybody. I learned at a young age, like you don't idolize anybody, but you always respect, who came before, and you pay attention to your masters. There's a difference. So Nego, a bathing ape, has always been my mark as far as who I saw as a direct influence. Like if it's one person that I say, this is what I want, is Nego. It's always been that way. So I read a book, or I read an article about Nego a long time ago, and it basically just showed like his process. And in a nutshell, before Bape got to America in 2003, 4, it already had a 10-year lifespan in Asia. So when I found that out, so you see the picture of Biggie Smalls with the bathing ape jacket, that's real. You feel me? And that was in 95. So I'm like, Bape was this. So then I started finding out about why they have colored camels, why is difference in the prints and the names and this and that, why he started it, all this other stuff. And Nego has always been a direct mark. And one thing about him, he's always known when to say no to popularity and focus on like longevity of the brand, sustainability of the brand. Like it was at one point, thinking like 97, he had like his shit all over Asia. And then he himself was like, you know what, this shit is getting too out of my hand. Like, you start selling to other stores, they start discounting your shit, or you start doing this and they start trying to collab and this and doing all this. And it kind of like cheapens the ideal of like a true visionary. You know what I mean? So long story short, he took all of the Bape out of every store. So imagine you scale up to get into every Macy's in America. And then you say, you know what? I'm taking that shit out of every Macy's and I'm putting that shit in one store in the middle of Soho. No, in the middle of Tribeca or the Wall Street, because it was in the business district in Japan on the 27th floor. And you got to show a passport to get in. Like, who the fuck wants to go through this with clothes? But he knew that people would still come, and they did. And then 5 years later, Pharrell brings Bape to America, and the rest is history. So I'm like, this is...
I knew none of that shit, so thank you for that history.
Oh, yeah,
for
bro.
real.
That shit is like... That's one thing I will say is like, I'm a nerd for history.
When did you read that book?
I want to say, and it was in a magazine article. It was in a Hype Beast magazine article. It was a special on Bape. I believe it was maybe like 2015. Yeah.
Okay.
20.
How long after that did you start Cafe?
So I started I started a brand called 1990s. That was first. That was in 2011. That was when, or actually 10. That was when my best friend, my producer, Mitch Arizona. So we started at 2011. I was in college during the time. I started doing runway shows. So in school, before I sold clothes or did the website or any merch, I was like printing clothes in my basement for just to put them on the runway, for lack of better words, like literally to do fashion shows at my school. And we started doing other schools. And at the time, like I was the only straight black streetwear designer in like the whole school system. And it was like, they was like, this isn't fashion at first, because it's like people making bridal dresses and like beachwear and like bikinis. And I'm coming with like t-shirts printed that I bought the t-shirt, but I printed, and they like, and the logo is,
and they were really hating on that.
Yeah, at first they didn't get it. Like a lot of people. The students did, because we come from that. We streetwear. We are the age. Like I come from Nike Talk. I come from, you feel me, sneaker news. I come from motherfucking like that era where it's like, it's only eBay. that you gotta go to, or like you gotta know these like underground Jewish sneaker spots or all these little places, these mom and pops. Like I come from that era, so it's kind of like
I remember that. I remember the OG Bodega before Bodega blew up. You ever go to that Boston one?
Yo, so I went there. I went there before in like 14, and that shit is, man, that shit like that, and just reading that shit, or like Karma Loop.
Yeah.
And seeing all the brands there, A Life and all that shit, man. So long to sum that all up. While I was going to school, I then started a brand called SZN. So SZN spelled CZEN. So SZN, we'll get into a lot of that later, I'm sure, but SZN is really just when I started. So after 1990s, I got tired of making just streetwear. And a friend of mine named Toya Mendez, she was this girl that came from the city. She just transferred schools. And she is like, so at the time doing fashion shows, and it's cool. I'm just doing it like, it's lit, but I'm in college. Like, I'm just like learning fashion, but I'm just doing streetwear.
Yeah.
Then she like, yo, the clothes is fire, but the show is boring. Like, you got to actually put some theatrics into it, make it tell a story. And that's when I started learning about high designers and high fashion. And because I'm like, I've always been into like Prada since I was a kid or like teenager. You know, you hear these things, Wayne talking about Dolce and Gabbana jeans, shit like that.
Were you born with like a love for it, or did you find it? I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you good. No, please cut me off, cause I just keep. I feel like I guess like,
because loving it at a young age, like,
yeah, I think that, I feel like, okay, so my dad was always like a fly, like I'm Ghanaian, I'm West African. So even my culture, you feel me? Like my father was born there. So I feel like that's just naturally in me, just to be, boisterous with my clothing and my style choice. But then, I was like in the 6th grade, I got some Nike ones for the first time, and like the older kids would see me at the store and it was like, yo, when them come out? And I like never got that attention before. And it was like, wow. Cause I felt like, damn, I did something that nobody thought to do. And then after that, I got into clothes like 8th grade. And then from there, like I won best dress my 8th grade year. And then after that, it was like, then I met my cousin Camouflage Monk. We get into that too. I met him my freshman year, and it was over. So by the time in college, like it's just, but I'm still always making music too. So Cafe came from SZN. I know that was the original question. Yeah. So Cafe, so when I started SZN, I got tired of making streetwear, and I needed to find more purpose in my passion in myself. And I started taking Zen Buddhism. So that's where the SZN. So it's literally me seeing Zen in clothing.
That's crazy that you said that because of the show we talked about before.
That's why I was like, yeah, bro. That's why I was like, I get you. You feel me? Like I literally, because I was in school and I didn't want to take, Literature 1. Instead of taking English literature, I took Zen Buddhism. And instead of taking a history of politics, I took ancient philosophy. It was just like they sounded cooler, didn't know none of the context prior, found out I did that's like mastery level type shit, like Eastern and Western in the same time. And like shit was crazy. And I took a moral ethics class, like to split them down the middle, all in the same semester. So when I thought about SZN, that was that. My boy Tris came along. That's like my partner in crime, one of them. My boy, Tris. So when he came along, we was doing SZN. Cafe came because I was in school, and from 2 to 7, when my homies is at work, especially like Weez is the glue, he the middle. So like we all go to his crib. But from 2 to 7, they work jobs. I don't got shit to do after class. So instead of going, the block is done, we out of the hood. So it's kind of like Buffalo, this is pre-Griselda, pre-Billie Essco growth, pre all of that. So it's kind of like there's no traction in the city. There's no culture outside of the hood there's no crossing yet. Like we are the cross, but we haven't been permitted into the buildings and we haven't got enough money yet to buy the buildings. Now we own some building. Yeah. So it was like we had nowhere to go. So I say that to say Cafe started from an ideal. Hey, I'm going to create this platform where you can go to this site and you could basically act as if you in a cafe. Throughout time, like you stop and you like analyze and you overanalyze, so you stop your process. So you ask, okay, it went from that ideal to then 2020, we in the crib.
All right, but when was that? When was that?
That was 2016. So I started Cafe. I say I started.
The original question was after reading that article, how long did Cafe start? Which I love. I love I'm letting you go off because this is important. Like I want to hear how your fucking mind works to that. But we're talking about moments,
right?
And I was wondering if that was your moment reading that article.
One of
you talk about it. So like
one of my moments, like I had a moment, like a defining moment to spark all of this.
Okay.
I've had that. You feel me? I have two in my life that vividly, like I have a vivid memory because I pay attention to the moments. That's why I fuck with you. And I didn't even know that you was like this. So it's like,
we haven't had convos.
You feel me? So it's dope. But it's like this. So that's why I explain things for people who listening. I explain my thought process that arrived to that ideal before I explain the ideal itself. So sometimes I ramble because I'm just trying to show you how I even thought. But I say that to say yes. From the Zen Buddhism, and taking that and reading about Siddhartha and all of that, like
and the Bape.
You feel me? In the Bape. So that was 2016. And then I put out an album in 2018 called Cafe. So it went from this idea of creating a space, a metaphorical space that will one day be physical. Then it went into this album of Cafe. Then it became what you see today because the logo is very prominent. And I wanted to like cross-pollinate that before I put out the whole idea. So in a nutshell, you feel me?
Yeah. But all right.
Yo, we both like, so
nah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you have created the ideal? Because the thing about taking your hands out of the fire before it happens, it's like you might feel that yourself, but do you think others feel that for you? Like,
nah.
Because you're on this show. Like, you can't say all that shit and then be like, yeah, but I'm not really in it. Like,
yo, bro, I could, and I could go so much deeper, but ultimately the reason why I feel so contrived is because I know my true capability. Like,
do you feel like being extra hard on yourself is the only way that you can keep being better?
No.
Okay.
The only reason why I'm hard on myself is because I'm a Capricorn, so I'm rooted in reality.
All right, I'm a Cancer.
You feel me? I'm like a fucking Cancer rising. So I have like a lot of like emotions. I'm very grounded and rooted. So that's why I'm cool with everybody. And I'm like not big-headed as much as I am who I am. Like I know who I am and I've been this way for a very long time. But at the same time, I'm so grounded in reality that I see my flaws. And until we are flawed, we human, but I do understand that we all have a higher consciousness that we can reach. And I'm just not satisfied. And I'm always hard on myself because I know there were moments that I slacked, that I shouldn't have, that I could have got further. But I still also realize that I'm blessed still. Like I'm in this position right now when no one noticing and people hear that and be like, bro, so I just know like if y'all thought this was amazing, I promise you the shit that I wrote down that didn't hit the light from 5 years ago is fucking like, okay, I get it. Like I get it. Like I know, like, you feel me? Like,
yeah.
I know where I am and I know where I'm supposed to be. So I just know what I got to do now. It's all about what you do today and tomorrow. fuck yesterday.
You do feel like you had fallen off the path a few times?
Mhm.
How old are you?
31.
Okay.
You feel me? And
Mhm.
like, you wouldn't even think that.
I would not. I for real didn't. Yeah.
I'd give a good 25, 26.
For real,
You
yeah.
feel me? No, I'm 31.
I'm 24, so I thought you were like my age, for real.
You feel me? I could definitely
Yeah.
go for that.
People always think I'm
I
older,
definitely thought you was a little older, but
Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying. But it's like, I don't even feel 31. And I laugh because I'm the youngest. I'm the second youngest in my crew. Like you feel me, Ocho.
Mhm.
You feel me? Shout out to bros. The foes is always high. Foes up, foes down. But I'm the second youngest, so I always felt young. And I've always been around younger people because I just connect. And that's like my affiliation with the homies too, because I connect the younger to them.
Yeah.
You feel me? So
But you were able to like live and then learn from your mistakes. I get very scared about like learning from, I have to learn from my mistakes in real time because I had like the moment that changed me, which the DMT trip I've talked about it, but like, and there was a lot of shit around it life wise, but like I had that young, so it's like, shit, I really don't want to fuck up the momentum I have.
I feel you. I think that I can honestly say, like, shit, if I could even talk to my 24-year-old self, like, it would be like, be more fearless. Because, like, as long as you don't die, you're okay. Like, seriously. And, like, I grew up in a very heinous environment. I grew up, like, my niggas that I grew up with, like my homies that I like play football with, like most of them, and you always hear that, like most of them really dead or in jail. Like I got a picture, I played little league football. And out of them 32 kids, there's about 5 of us that's still like alive and healthy and like doing good. Maybe 6, maybe 8 if 3 of them move.
But still.
You feel me?
Yeah,
out of 32
it
kids.
don't matter
Like, you feel me? So it's like, and that was just 1 year. That's not even all the years I played and all the kids I played with. So it's just like growing up, that's always been in the back of my head. I'm a person that is, everybody got their fears, but I would say be more fearless because over time you learn from your mistakes, but what you don't do hurts you more later. You feel me? What you don't do hurts you more later because it's like, you look back at how significant you doing that random little thing would have been then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what I would say. Like, man, look, like what? It's funny. I still young, but it's like, and I'm cool where I'm at. I'm actually glad I'm this age, this time. But I just remember like what life was like when I was 24. Like, you feel me? That was 2013. So I was, I had just met Wes. You feel me? I had just met Wes.
How'd y'all meet?
He came into street, or was it street game or Villa and Skis, Jay Skis.
He was just here yesterday.
Word, that's my other best friend.
I love that
first
album.
class. Yeah, man, listen, that joint was a sneaky joint too. Wait till you hear the next one. But he brought a CD in the Skis, and at the time, like this is 2013, so like this is around the time where like this is like right after you got shot. I think Benny might be locked up. Cause we listened to Conway and Benny in high school. Like those always, when Benny was 2 Chainz, Benny Main, the Mayor, them mixtapes, all them shits, like them joints was crazy. And Conway, when he was canning, we always listened to them. So this is after their run. They're starting to go to South, when they talk about them being in the South and running back and forth. So it's a void in, because Buffalo's competitive. So it was no number one. So everybody was competing. Then you got Rick High with Well Fed. You had us with First Class, and then you had Loyalty E&T. You had other couple groups and shit like that. But even now we're starting to die down. Like we hit a glass ceiling multiple times. So 2013 was like, you want to get the fuck out of Buffalo, if anything. You feel me? The streets was bad. Niggas was getting locked up crazy. Like that shit was just a whack time. Ocho was done. So we's kind of like just in the world. Like I was in school. I fucking hated school. And this is around the time. It's crazy. This is actually around the time I had that moment.
Your first defining moment?
My first defining moment. It was like, I don't know if I had met Wes yet or not. I think we had met once. And basically, once he gave Skis a CD, he already knew who he was. I don't know. I mean, we was buzzing in the city.
Yeah.
So, but he was older. So it was like, oh shit, okay. We had our group on lock, but it was just like an older dude. We didn't know who he was. We know everybody. We like, who the fuck? So when we heard his music, I'm like, who the fuck? I'm like, nah, hold on. This dude is actually fire. And he talking about fly shit.
Crazy fly shit.
And that's the thing. All my music always been fly. I got music from 07, me talking about Prada. Dead ass. And Bathing Apes still.
Yeah.
So, you know,
that regal shit.
All that, you know. So hearing him was like, what the fuck? And my cousin Monk had just moved to Atlanta. So he was forging a relationship with Wes. And I was like, me and him was inseparable from like the time we linked until he would move a lot. Like he would move to like Columbus, then move back, then move to Atlanta. Like he had like deals back in the day. He was signed to like he was the most superstar random regular person ever. Like he been a star. Like Camo Monk today is calm. Back then he was West. He like in the sense of braggadocious. You gonna see.
I would have never guessed that.
Never would know. You know, and yeah, so everybody it was just like a time where I was just like in my own world. I was in college. And I talk about college a lot because it's funny. That shit was a very defining moment in my life. And I felt like in a weird sense, no way, shape, or form is this equivalent. But it was like my own form of jail in a sense, because it was like a place I didn't want to go. Now, granted, jail is not college because college is way fucking fun. But you ask some niggas that have been back and forth in the penitentiary their whole life, that shit like school to them. It's just like an all-boys school to them. You feel me? And they know how to maneuver. So college was like this place where it was like, because I was there, but I wasn't there. I wanted so much more. I wanted to be traveling on tour. I wanted everything that like I'm doing now, but also like bigger. Like, but my vision was clear. Like, this is exactly what I want. But the game in the industry, it was Instagram just started. It was none of what we had. So I'm just a kid from Buffalo, like with this dream. And then one day I went to Toronto and the cops did us flagrant at the border over nothing. I was with OG Soul and like they did us so foul, strip searched us all over weed. And I felt so just degraded. I grew up, we all, you feel me, been arrested before, all that shit.
Yeah.
So I've been in experiences with cops, but that shit was just different because it was like, yo, bro, y'all know it's nothing going on, bro. Y'all really just had us in there for like 5 hours. We had some joints waiting for us. I'm like, you wasting my time. I was so tight. So I say that to say that was the first day in all of my adult years that I just wanted to hear Tupac. That's it. I just wanted to hear Pac. Like,
is that your defining moment?
I'm gonna get to it. But this is the leading up to it.
Yeah.
So I just was banging Pac and Gucci all the way to Toronto. I got to Toronto in 43 minutes. It take an hour and a half. I got there in 43 minutes on a dot. We had a crazy ass night. Ended up meeting up with these girls, beautiful girls. Had a great time. Yo, this shit was crazy. It was fun as hell, right? Get back to Buffalo. So I'm in school. I'm chilling, right? So right before I get back to Buffalo, while I'm in the car, I'm on Tumblr. This is when Tumblr's lit. And I see this word that pop up real fast. Just say avant-garde. So I'm like, I like names. Like I've always been into names. So it just said in the back of my head, nothing, right? I go home. I write the word down, right? I go to school. So this other shit was going on. I start researching about the black. No, so I looked up the word. I'm like, what do avant-garde mean? I read what it means. I'm like, this is everything that I'm trying to do. Like, this is everything that I want to be. You feel me? Breaking out the box, doing something against the grain, going like,
Counterculture.
you feel me?
Yeah.
Counterculture. This is prior to anything that exists now. And I'm like, so I research. So they tell me that the Black Panthers was an avant-gardist movement. Mind you, the day before, now this is in a time where I'm very into my spiritualness. I'm very into like God body. Like I'm on some like, and this is because of Pac, my boy Don's. I'm taking Zen Buddhism, philosophy. I'm like really into like politics, all type of shit. Like I'm on some like, nah, you could listen to like the B word and the chase. And you see I take stances against the industry. I don't want no deal because you got to sign with them to do that. This is before independency was big. But this is like, I don't want that. These, do you feel me? These is devils. They this and that. Not even on no like weird spooky shit like hey Rashid say, but no, this is real. You feel me? We ain't on that spooky shit, but like some real life, what's going on. So this is when I'm really getting knowledge of self in this time. So I leave class and this avant-garde word is like just getting my, like I'm just, my brain is going. And then literally I looked up and the word popped up like 5 times within a span of one place. I look up and at the time, my school, it was one of the anniversaries for some shit and it happened to say avant-garde and something else happened. And at this time, working on a project, trying to figure out a name. Yo, that shit, I remember when I cried, right? Because I felt it.
Yeah.
But yo, the tears, I never cry like that. The tears literally burst. Like they were like sprinkling out. And I like was the happiest in that moment. And like, it was so clear, like so fucking clear of like my mission, everything, like literally my whole life. And it was just like, later I figured out what all that meant. But in that moment, I'm like, so then Avant-Garde, the album, was that moment of like, and if you listen to it, when we put it back on streaming services, like it's all of that. Like it's literally the start of everything that came to be, all this art shit, all this, we are art, we are gods, we, you feel me, higher beings, high fashion, care about the clothing, smoothies and what you eat
set your future in that moment.
All of that shit.
All right, what do you mean by going back, you know what it means now? Like, you know, you understand what that was now.
So again, through time, you start to really understand your understanding. So looking back, it just was like, that was a real moment. Like sometimes you would question that shit. Like, no, like that was a moment where I tapped into a universal algorithm. And like I was there.
Yeah.
You feel me?
That's why fuck the third eye shit. Like, I don't know what, that's why I came to Buffalo the first time. That's why I came first to, you know, Buffalo Kids, the year anniversary is like tomorrow. Yeah.
Fuck.
And the day I came to Buffalo was because the first time I came to Buffalo was for the Buffalo Kids opening, just because I had never been to Buffalo. The only person I knew was Struggle Mike, but I had like a calling. I was like, I have to go. This was during pandemic. My family was like, what the fuck are you doing? You've never been to Buffalo before. You've never driven 7 hours. I was like, nah, I fucking have to go.
Wow. Damn. This, look. No, for real, because that's what I'm saying. That's that
you were calling the future in that moment.
Yo, very much so, bro. And from then, I called the future so many times from my room, and I didn't. And that's the thing when I say I pulled my hand from the fire. I was nervous that I was gonna get burnt, not realizing that my hand was in this spot, like this, like your hand in the fire, and you like, yo, is it gonna burn me? Whole time you answer the question, but you good. You ain't even realize that you didn't even feel the heat. Like your hand is in the middle of it, you talking to like, yo, is it? Yo, bro, I'm nervous. And it's like, nah, bro, your hand is in the middle of the fire. You ain't feel it yet? So I will always pull it back before I could realize that.
I finally know what you mean. And that's crazy because that's exactly how I feel. Like you just have to commit to something. Like, and once you commit to that and have faith in that, it doesn't matter what it is, but you have to commit to that one thing and just have faith, not be scared. Shit's gonna happen, but you can't be scared.
You feel me? Shit is gonna happen. Like I'm gonna say this because like before I wouldn't say it, but it's like, bro. And that's why I'm like, I've always been a proponent of you are great, not just me. We are great, always. You
ever read Be Here Now?
Mm-mm.
I feel like you should take some shrooms, read that book. It's by Ram Dass, but he talks about like you can't, and I don't mean to, and I've said this on the podcast, but I don't mean this in a Christian way. And he doesn't mean it in a Christian way, but he says you can't realize you're Jesus until you realize everybody's Jesus. Like
bingo is a consciousness. You feel me?
Yeah,
that consciousness. That it's so much shit. That's what I'm learning. That's why I'll be struggling between like, fuck this cool shit, bro. I'm trying to get there because in my soul, I'm tired. You feel me? In my soul, I'm tired. But as a person, I got so much life in me. So it's like, I know that that's why I have to do what I got to do. Because it's like, I'm so close to completing this mission. I feel it this time. And it's like, some people don't even get that. Like, but I understand that. Before I used to be like, if you don't get it, I don't get you. And then I missed out on life. That's why I love A. Rashid. Cause it's like, he the first person that I seen that it made it to the mountaintop and was like, hey, but they still cooking now. You feel me?
Yeah,
I can only get jerk chicken down there. So we back where the jerk chicken at, bro.
He was my first real like interview that got views. Like the talking to him, listening to him fucking made me understand a lot of shit. Like,
yeah. So I'm like, man, so that's what I'm saying. Like this year, and this is the first interview I did in a minute. And like,
I appreciate that.
No, I appreciate you because like, but I understand why you did. Like, even in those first moments of the conversation prior to us kicking off, it's like, man, I got it. Cause like this whole shit is a journey.
Yeah.
And all my music, you listen to all my music, all that shit is like me trying to figure out myself through clothes, through art, through fashion, through fucking, because clothes and fashion is two different things. You feel me? Fashion is a mentality. It's like a persona. Clothing is what everybody got clothes. Fashion is like what the clothes and the mentality create. It's like a bunch of shit. You dig? So understanding all of that, now I'm more clear to speak. Before I just knew, but I wasn't clear. Now it's like I'm getting more clear with it. I think that comes with age and all that.
What was the second defining moment?
The second defining moment, man, that was a little bit, that kind of like was a little more personal, but it really just always had to do with like my, I think there was like a collection of small moments that made that second moment crystal clear. Cause it was like, if you don't get it, you're going to be like almost chastised with the answer. It's like, all right, you don't get it. So now I'm going to like basically put it in front of you, but I'm going to put a blindfold over you. So it's like almost like torment because you know it's there.
That's what I'm going through today, bro.
Yeah, bro. That's it. Yeah, that shit be.
That shit's wild, bro.
That shit be.
I don't mean to.
No, bro.
But I get, and it's the personal shit. I don't even want to talk about it.
it'd
But
be
like, I know exactly what you mean.
It'd be like, fuck. So,
all right, you're talking about your soul being tired, but like you also feel like you're right there. How do you like? What do you do? What do you tell your like? How do you like? Do you just? I used to say little tank mentality, but then someone was like, "That's just a little engine that could."
I feel then,
but like, is that what you do? Like, how do you keep your soul from not like giving up?
Man, that's a daily. Shout out to all the strong women in my life. You feel me? The strong people, period. Friends, but man, women tell me the most honest shit about myself. And I'm able to like be myself, like always myself, but then more like women is gonna tell you what the fuck is up in a very articulated language. Like they're gonna tell you like it's like putting shit in a calculator to give you one answer. Like
I feel like I have to just say like right before the reason I even did DMT is because I went through I thought I was gonna move to New York with a girl, whatever, like big shit. And then she told me like, yo, you drink too much, the people you hang out with suck, and you have problems with family that you're never gonna get successful with if you don't deal with.
Fuck.
And I didn't understand her until I did that trip. And I did the trip and I was like, oh, I understand everything that she's saying. Like
that should be real, bro. Like that should be real, your experience. Even the bad ones. I went through some shit. You know, I went through some shit. I put some people through some shit. I went through some shit. So I learned a lot. And it's an everyday, bro. I go through it every day. Every single day. Some days I win, some days I lose, or I don't say lose, but some days it's just like I don't see it till I go to sleep. I wake up the next morning. It's like, it wasn't that bad. Like
I think about that. This is a weird thing, but like on fucking that Benny, the new Benny and Cole track, which is insane. Insane.
I gotta take my glasses off. Billie. I have Free Billie written on my wall when I was a kid.
Really?
So it just be that shit is extra personal, man.
The first thing he says on that track after Tanner Talk 4, you know what it is? It's weird.
Say it.
He goes, this doesn't feel as good as it looks. That's the first thing he says on a Cole track, bro. He's not even rapping. He says that shit's I've thought about that crazy. I've thought about that more than any line that I've ever heard from any Griselda shit. And I love them more than any, like I listen to that more than anything. But for him to say that the first thing on Tana Talk 4, that I feel it. That's that every day. No one like that's probably what everyone like. You have to do that every day. Fucking
unless you West. Nah, because like everyone deals with it different. West is an amazing, like, you know, it's people like West, like Haji, like Don't Watch TV, that like are very emotional people because they care, but they know how to not be emotional. They are in full control of their emotions. Like Don't Watch TV. Like truly, that's my cousin. That's my family. So I know him since I was 8. I've seen him grow from every stage, but I've also watched how he's able to like man his square. It's certain people that like just that shit is like, I don't know. Like you see West, like man,
you're born with it. Yeah.
Charisma,
that's why I love
the motherfucker, man.
When I met Khan in 2017, I don't know why he talked to me for like as long as he did. I was like smoking shitty blunts with him outside of a show. Like he talked to me for like 30 minutes on some real shit. And he told me like when Wes was locked up, he knew exactly what was happening. And he said that in 2017 before they even popped up. He was like, Wes was like locked up saying everything that's happening now is about to happen. And that's 2017.
I knew it. I said that. I said, yo, when Wes was in jail, I said it because I didn't know him when he was in jail. I was like, yo, whatever, like he figured it out there. He learned how to deal with himself, his ego. He learned I don't cause I again, like I knew of Benny. I knew of Benny. I knew of Conway. So I watched them. So Wes I didn't get to see, but I just always figured like whatever he was and when he was in that cell, I figure like it's always in you, but it's that moment that turned that shit on like that.
That defining moment.
Like, and he ain't never. That's the one thing I respect. I mean, I respect it, but that's one of the things I respect is that he ain't never stopped as much as shit. Like I really like we really grown to be family. So I know all the shit that he go through behind closed doors that people don't see. Like he handled a lot of things, but I will say like he just don't. He don't give up. Monk is another person. I guess we all are in our rightful manner.
What do you think the Buffalo, like why, what do you think it is about like Buffalo kids? Like whatever that means, like.
So, shit. This girl just told me this like Bible verse yesterday, and I feel like it could be applicable. And it said that it's Matthew 20:16. And my bad if I'm misquoting it for like people who really know the Bible word for word, but it basically say the last shall be first. So and it goes on. But I feel like we are representation of the last of the like that what we are doing now, because again it's going to change to something better, something bigger, but I feel like we were the last of that, like the last of the culture that we know and we grew up on. Now it's about to be different. In 10 years, the culture that was grown upon, it's not going to be this type. You feel me? This is going to be like, it's because of this that will help it travel to the future. But we were like the last, and it's so the history of it. And it's just God playing like how all this shit is the like, bro, I have Free Benny on my wall and I didn't know him. You feel me? But he was from my brotherhood, like a hood that I rep. Like, you feel me? Like before I met Monk, right when they put me down, I went and then my mom moved me downtown. You feel me? Mm-hmm. Soon as I'm about to be in a hood where I'm about to meet Benny and them, you feel me? Yeah. I get moved. So knowing them and then fast forward to being a part of what they doing. Even the Buffalo Kid shit, like that came from me screaming Low Kids for the years through shows. Just because 2013, when there's nobody around and like Monk isn't making music.
The drought you were talking
about. The drought. Yeah. Everybody is like dealing. Rick High got kids. They young. He working a job. Everybody's dealing with real life. I'm not one of the only people that had the luxury of just going to college. Like, I'm out the hood. Like, that's a blessing. Like, I was the one that made it out, but it wasn't. And I was going to South by Southwest. I was going to A3C. I was going to New York Fashion Week. Wes was meeting me there. I couldn't understand, like, who the fuck is this dude? But he cool. This my man's now. But it's like, in the back of my head, it's like, yo, bro, we on the same pit from the start. He never took his hand out the fire. You feel me? That the more he put gasoline on his hand.
Yeah.
Like, you feel me? But the whole time I'm in this space. So Low Kids. We rocking polo. Again, niggas is trying to do Versace. What the fuck? Versace, because Migos came out. Oh no, we on Polo and Nautica. We at the thrift store with it. This is how SZN came about. Because I'm in the thrift store every day. Oh, they don't make clothes like this no more. Fuck this. I'm gonna print my own label in there. I see Virgil doing the same shit. Oh shit, this is the nigga that be with Kanye. He got a store in Chicago. Yo, he just bought Rugby flannels on discount because Rugby about to go out of business. So he bought them and printed Pyrex 23 on it and had Ye Rocket at the Sandy Hook Festival or Relief concert. Shit sold out in a day. $550 for one. I'm like, you feel me? Like, go on Pharrell's site the next day is a screen printing press. I'm always on BBC.com. Cafe Season is BBC ice cream. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
BBC was more commercial. I mean, ice cream was commercial, it was cute. Reebok did some shit with it.
Yeah.
BBC, you had to go to the boutique that season. You gotta come see me to get it. You feel me? Mm-hmm. So this is all during that time. And it's like, now, West, knowing how hot shit is, oh no, they gotta know what it is. This is Buffalo kids. This ain't just low kids, Buffalo kids. And now it's like, it's bigger than just, it's what's going on. The whole thing.
Yeah. It changed everything.
Everything, bro.
That's why I don't know why I had to come to the opening, but like, I couldn't believe how many people were there.
It's crazy.
I waited
been a year.
9 hours in line. Yeah. I had no one knew me, bro. I was in line with my boy Shamil. My boy Shamil came with me because he wanted to film shit. I got filmed from that day. No one knew who I was. Not that people would know but like no one knew who I was. Like, waited 9 hours, got video, all that shit. So funny, bro. A year ago tomorrow.
Now look. Shit crazy.
Shit's crazy, bro.
That's wow.
On the same day that all the shit's going on. It's a good day, bro.
That shit wild, man. That shit.
And we didn't even talk about like.
Nah, bro, I'll tell you right now, bro. None of this shit. Like, was supposed to link. And then when I watched, because Matt, and I ain't going front, a lot of people hit me up for interviews. And two things. One, like, I fuck with interviews, so I don't do them, but it gotta be the right space. Because it's like, as you see, I cannot answer questions very shortly. Yeah. So it has to be in the proper platform for me to even divulge this type of information. And then two, it's just like timing, life shit. So it's just like it worked out. And let me ask you this, and you can ask me some other shit. What? So you from Boston?
Outside of Boston,
Massachusetts. You was you went to the Boston show? Yeah. What year?
2017 at Middle East Upstairs.
It was the upstairs one. I think we was downstairs.
I was downstairs too.
So
next year,
it was you went to them 2 years in a row. Mm-hmm. I was there. I don't know if it was 16 or 17, but I was Wes's hype man for that shit.
Really?
Facts. We did Albright Knox that night. Yeah, because that's the same night we met El Divino. El Divino came in the backstage and he was like drunk and he just pulled up on us and just started rapping. And then he knew us like, yo, like he knew all of us. So it was just like dope. And he just kicking it with us. We smoked with him. Same shit like how Conway. Yeah. I feel like that was the show, bro.
It must be.
I feel like, but they could.
I just found a picture from that the other day. I thought it was so funny. I was wearing a free 03 Greedo shirt.
Oh, you a legend for that.
I had Coach Griselda Camino. That shit was so funny. I was wearing a
bro, you know about 03 Greedo then?
I've been on all. I was downloading Young Thug shit before he signed to Gucci. Like I've been. Rap music is my like comedy is who I am. but rap music's my passion. But I look like
Right.
this, so I can't like.
Oh, that's cool, bro.
You know what
Nah,
I
I feel
mean?
you.
Like,
Damn, that's interesting, man. That's interesting.
yeah, I fucking bought. It was like $100 for a T-shirt just because I wanted to help him out, bro. I was on 03 early.
That's fire. Yeah, my man Skate put me on the 03 at Draco. They put me on and you feel me? I love
That was sad. Draco and Dolph were the two. Those
that
fucked
shit
me
really,
up.
yeah, like that shit was, man. I read the article from his photographer. I think that was there. It was just like that
But
shit.
Catchy had died like a year before. Like
Not
people
even
were
a
done-
year. You feel me?
Yeah.
So it's just like they just got out. Like that shit was just fucked up. Cause it's like, damn, bro. He
But
was
I gotta
really
show.
nice.
Yeah.
Shout out G
Awful-
Perico.
Have you listened to the new Tangerine's Fire?
Come on, bro. Listen,
Fuck,
yo,
bro.
I ain't gonna front G Perico.
But I've been listening to him even before his Jay Worthy. Shit.
Yeah, what is it? All Blue in the other joint.
Yeah.
Shout out my boy TF too and Jay Worthy. Shout out to my Cali homies, Doe Networks. Shout out
Don't know.
Yeah, man. Shout out to all the Cali homies, bro. Because I'll be out at Cali and then like to meet them later and then get embraced by that side, like it's love, man. Shout out to Cali, LA Essco. You know how we do. Yeah, bro. Shit crazy. So what?
Remember we were gonna start the conversation with the fucking Tyler the Creator story.
Wow,
bro?
now we're on Look,
that was
and
wild, bro.
and God said, now we're on Cali. Well, yeah. So I was listening to Tyler earlier, an interview, and he was doing this shit, and then you had asked me, or you had basically said that you just listened to some of his recent work.
Because I was on the Conway doing the remix of Wilshire. He put like 2 minutes of our conversation on the track.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Uh-huh. And he gave me official feature credits.
Wait, Tyler?
Conway has a remix of Wilshire. Like, not a remix, but like...
I know what you're talking about. Okay, yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
and he put me like 2 minutes of our conversation and gave me like credits on that shit.
Beautiful.
Like,
Shout out to
beautiful. Like,
Conway is the most generous gangster.
For real.
Most generous gangster. Shout out to Big Bro. But yeah, Tyler.
So I was listening to Wilshire and I was like, oh, this shit's really good.
Mm-hmm. No, Tyler, shout out my homegirl Lily Fox, founder of Sad Girls Club. She's doing amazing things. She also from Buffalo, doing amazing things in the world with that. But she put me on to Tyler like 2011. And that's another thing. Music, like we've always been tapped into that universal algorithm. So like finding out about Tyler was like I remember she sent me his Instagram or his Twitter, like only like 1,000 followers. He's like literally just did the first show in New York, and then you could look up some of his interviews. He talk about that first show in New York, and like from there he just blew the fuck up. But she telling me about him, and at the time, like I watched the videos, this nigga throwing up in his shit. I'm like, who the fuck is this dude? Like, hell no, I'm way far. I'm going to clubs, listening to like Drake, and like we on some like popping bottles, rocking Polo and Prada. Like we on. You're
not on that shit.
Hell
that
no, I'm fine. I'm the smoothest. Like I am. Hell no, we is not on that, right? So at the time, then they dropped Goblin. I'm working this job and like I'm in a freezer. So it's like I'm doing building pallets for grocery stores. So I'm like, when you get a pallet of water or a pallet of fucking whatever, toilet paper or lettuce.
Yeah.
So I gotta get these pallets, put them on this like little trolley scooter thing that you ride that's actually pretty fun, but mad dangerous because they go 40 miles. And it's 50 people, 50 men driving these shits. It's crazy. And this is like, I'm like 23. I'm young. I'm 20, 21. And like, I'm in fucking community college at the time. This is before I go to the university. I'm in community college. I hate this shit. I'm just in it because my mom begging me, don't do nothing but go to school. Like, you cannot not do nothing. I'm like, music or nothing. I'm in school, whatever, working this bullshit job. I'm in the freezer, listening to music. and I'm playing Goblin, and this shit is musically fire.
Yeah.
Fucking fire. Frank Ocean singing on this shit. And it's like, but he rapping this crazy shit, doing different voices. I'm like, damn. So I always respected him. And then through his career, it's funny how very different you feel me? And he Nigerian, my father. I'm Ghanaian, but they like cousins, like Ghana and Nigeria. They like this, they like cousins that fight, but they'll fight you together, but they'll fight each other after type shit. You feel me? So as his career grow, Cherry Bomb, Flower Boy, I'm listening to this shit, and it's like
Smuckers.
You feel me? Like these, it's just crazy.
He got
like,
Wayne and West on that song.
Crazy. Like, then it's like, all right, I started seeing what he was doing with the clothes. And I'm like, all right, because at the time, like, I was big on high designer before it became a thing. Because I was into why it costed so much. I'm like, why does this cost $700? Oh, because this type of yarn is only made from this fucking sheet that's on this mountain that literally only sheds twice a year, or some random. You feel me?
Yeah.
So over time is like, okay, you feel me? So then we go to Paris, and like we doing Fashion Week, and when we do the song, Monk sends me the beat, and I know I'm cheating, but Monk sends me the beat. I play it for Wes. Wes like, we definitely got to do that. He said, Monk sent me 100 beats, literally. I can't find none of them. I'm pissed. He sent me a folder of 100 beats. The first one we played, then like it was like, all right, cool. Second one was 322nd. Third one was French Toast. It was like, so it's like low. So we wrote to them shits, go to the studio. We in the studio. I wrote the hook to 327 the day that I got the beat. Gave it to Wes. He like, I fuck with this joint. Cause I'm over here mumbling. He like, yo, what it like? Say that. I'm like, say it. He like, so he write, we go to the studio, lay it down. It's the first song we do. Lay that shit down. Second song, he did one song just right off the top. I think it was damn, what is this? Off of Pray for Paris. I'm gonna figure it out. Anyway, then we do 327. So when we do 327, I lay my verse, or I lay the hook, and he like, I'm gonna send this to Erykah Badu. Right? So he like, I think she'll fuck with it. I'm gonna see. Like, he just like,
yeah.
You feel me? Send it to her. Months go by. Next thing you know, he like, Joey getting on it. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, that's what's up.
Yeah.
I had just linked with CJ Fly like a year ago.
Okay.
Just random, just at
oh, really?
Yeah, it was at Yams Day. Shout out to ASAP Mob. Rest in peace, ASAP Yams.
Rest in peace.
For real. Very crucial one. I'm at Yams Day, just on stage, just kicking it. We walked past, and like, I seen him before at Peter Palooza, but then like we ain't really know each other. He said, "What's up?" You probably seen me in the video, same shit. Like, I seen you, seen me type shit. So when we was walking by, it's like one of them, the Spider-Man moment. Like, I know you.
Yeah.
And it was love, like, just off of like, yo, what's up, bro? So then he like, Joey getting on. I'm like, I bet, cool. And then maybe like 3 days before the song is like, Pray for Paris is coming out, somebody was like, I think Monk got drunk. They was out. Monk was drunk and was like, yo, I think Tyler. He's like, son of all Tyler. I'm like, what? And then I seen a leak with the name, and I'm like, what the fuck? This is the most random of things, because it's like, I listen to Tyler a lot. You feel me? So it's like, well, I listen to when he drop albums, like, I'm tuned in. You feel me? I fuck with what he doing and how he, So, and then it's funny because then the verse was like, wow. So it's like, It's like, yo, he really got, but then to peep them, one of the greatest credits to a lyricist is when another mimics there. So it was dope to like get that, like,
Yeah.
oh, I must have did something. You feel me?
And
Because
it's
it
full
was like,
circle, yeah,
it was
for real.
full fucking circle.
So you
like,
didn't know he was on the track until
hell
like a
no.
day before.
The day
it was
before
really-
when niggas sending me the link, the leak. Like, yo, bro, you gotta like. I'm like, wait, what? What the fuck just happened? I'm like, nah. Then I heard it the day of. Fact.
Which track was it?
The 327. That's when I
No,
heard.
I mean that you were
Oh.
thinking about before.
What is it? Hold on. Damn, what is it? Oh, Eurostep.
Oh, okay.
He did that shit in one take.
God damn.
He fucked up and then he did it again. He did it in one take.
That's insane.
One take. Yeah.
Man, we got to do another one. We already did like an hour and a little bit.
Fuck. Yo, we really ain't
We didn't talk about shit. I could literally go for another hour.
For real.
Bro.
I mean, like, so like I guess like
we for
because
real
like I came here with an agenda to also talk about current shit and end up giving y'all the backstory of whole life like I normally do. Yeah, I mean shit, I'm with it. We definitely need another one. I definitely got some new shit coming up.
Yeah, bro. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I want to hear about all that shit.
Yeah,
I looked at the clock.
I was like,
and
that's
I was
crazy.
Like, damn, bro.
Yeah, I'm excited for the new shit coming. We starting that journey starting March 22nd on Cafe Season and then .com. So we starting from the platform and then it launches everywhere. The project comes out on all DSPs on the 25th of March.
Oh, that's dope.
So that's the first one. Where in the World is Billie Essco? And then yeah, bro, we about to go on a run now. I'm about to put my whole, everything in the fire. Like
jump both feet.
Just both feet in. Like we've been playing for so long. I got the burn mark, so it's like
it's your time.
Yeah, might as well just like a phoenix, bro. You feel me? Just see Kanye having his moment, like he having his phoenix rising. As crazy as it looks, my man is ascending to a whole nother plane.
No.
So it's just like I'm on the same path, man. And I advise everybody at home, get on your shit.
Man, thank you for coming on.
That's a fact. Thank you for listening to me talk.
This was dope. This is one of my favorites, man. Thank you.
This is ill, bro. This is funny because when it comes out, it's like, this is exactly what you say you wasn't gonna do. You was going to stick to the plan, answer questions. But nah, man, this was well needed, man. I hope the people enjoy this, man.
Peace out, everyone.
Peace.